So it turns out that companies are now not desiring to hire modern women anymore. I can't possibly imagine why, guys. We've got a video for you here today from the Circle of Kings. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way in, and let's jump into it.
A man will sacrifice his happiness for his family, and a woman will sacrifice her family for her happiness.
I don't believe that.
That's deep.
Because you guys are the men.
No, because it happened to me in real life.
I think it's listen. This is hard for you to accept it because I don't think I think you would be different.
You're good, but my mom left when I was like 1 or 2.
See, that gives me chills.
She disappeared.
Thinking about that.
Not disappeared, but like she was wanting to like go do young people stuff and go party and stuff like that. Well, my dad had to sit, go to work and take care of me. She did come back eventually, but that's picking happiness over her family.
It gave me like chills.
Why?
I don't know. It's sad to think about. A man would sacrifice his happiness for his family. A woman would sacrifice her family for her happiness.
Mm-hmm. We know that modern women will sacrifice their families for their happiness because we see it all the time online. They literally confess to it on the internet. There are thousands of videos.
I've applied to 300 plus jobs since August and I've heard back on none of them. Before you say it's my resume.
Oh, I can tell you why it seems like everyone's hiring, but no one's actually hiring you. I applied for thousands of jobs after I graduated college, and after I finally landed one, and once I left that company, I had no hope of getting another one, so I made my own career path. That's right, I never even managed to find a way into the industry from which I graduated from and originally wanted to join.
Modern women used to have no problem finding work when companies were focusing on DEI hires. It was the bravest thing a company could do, but since modern women are the worst thing for a professional workplace a lot of the time, a lot of companies are second-guessing such a costly decision.
Yeah, it's so hard for Gen Z and millennials to get a job nowadays. Most of us are just working 3 or 4 odd jobs to cover our bills. It's very sad. And people like this who are trying to sell you courses or profit off of this will try and tell you it's you or it's your approach that's the issue, and that's honestly not often it, which makes you feel even more helpless. Because when I would actually find places that were hosting interviews, I would often make it to like the end round of candidates, so I don't think it was me who was the problem. I had a pretty good fighting chance. But the issue is right in front of you. When you open up your LinkedIn, Indeed, whatever, and you look at all your job applications, what do you see right away? Only one of those was actually ever viewed.
What makes the situation worse is how you need 1 or 2 part-time jobs alongside a side hustle that requires far too much money in taxes. It feels like people are working insanely hard for the opportunity to work just to lose money anyway.
And most of them all go completely unviewed and untouched. Why is that? I can confirm this now as someone who once dabbled in the admin area for a company that also did this. This is very common practice, especially amongst like Fortune 500 companies. One time I had a friend who worked at a Fortune 500 company. I was like, oh, your marketing department's always posting listings for hiring. I should apply so we could work together. That'd be so much fun. And he looked at me and he said, don't bother. And I was like, that's kind of rude. Why would you say that? And he said, those probably aren't real. And any jobs we do have, they're going to be hired internally first.
It's a sad truth in today's job market. You either need to have connections or already be employed with the company. Sometimes that doesn't even matter thanks to companies laying off employees left and right anyway.
It's one of 2 things. We want our own people in the roles, but we have to post it publicly to say that we're hiring. Or 2, the job just isn't real, and looking like we're always hiring looks good on the outside from a growth perspective. Now, the legalities of that, I'm not positive of. Sadly, it's not an uncommon practice in the industry. It has a name. They're referred to as ghost jobs. The worst part is there's no way of knowing at first glance which ones are real and which are fake. So I think the fact that these have become such a common practice might contribute to this number looking so good overall on a national scale of job openings. It's quite possible a lot of them aren't real.
It makes sense why these companies would be pulling this crap, but that doesn't necessarily make it right. But we are living in a world where people are starting to get replaced with AI, robots, or something worse.
But working with all females and then going to working with all males, oh yeah, there were a few things that I didn't like. But it was such a godsend because males, for me, and for me anyway, were so much easier. And overall, I mean, her and I work well together. I think that's very rare, actually, because we're best friends and we can work together. And I think that's a rare situation. But working with males is a lot easier for me.
Men have a natural desire to get work done, we work better with others, and we don't feel the need to constantly be backstabbing each other for petty reasons. Ask any man who's worked in a female-dominated office, and they will tell you it's like working in a minefield. Hell, you could even ask women that question, and they'll give you the same answer.
Woman wins compensation from employer after her boss refused to say hello to her 3 times. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. She is that lady. Cha-ching. I remember the episode when I was talking about how you go into an office, you say good morning, no one responds. You say goodbye, no one responds. Well, you people that like to act bougie, specifically the employers, we coming for you. We coming for you, car. Yeah, make sure the energy right when you step into the office. That's all I'm gonna say.
If you don't say hello to a female employee, you're discriminating. But if you say hello, you're being creepy. These women just want to be victims, and they will turn the workplace into a minefield just to do that.
I am so tired of no one in these conversations speaking up for the harsh and very real reality that men are facing in the dating world right now. Because we talk about what women face. We're perfectly comfortable saying there's deadbeat guys who need to, get off their bum. You need to, make your money. You need to be able to provide for your family. You need to be in shape. You need to be fit, because if you're fat, you can't, and you're running across the street with a jiggle belly, you can't protect your woman. We are comfortable saying all of these things, but we are not comfortable checking women and saying, are you in your feminine? Are you virtuous? Maybe that body count of 86 is catching up with you, honey. I'm not into it. We are not comfortable challenging them.
Most modern women don't actually have preferences. They just have a massive list of demands that even if a man meets, it won't actually matter. It'll be closer to a hostage situation than it would be an actual relationship. And if a man brings that up, he's immediately called a bigot for it.
If companies can pay women less, why don't they hire all women?
Well, that's a whole nother story.
Really?
I understand your argument, and I understand that you're angry.
I'm not angry.
I can hear it in your voice.
I'm not
Listen to your
angry.
voice.
I'm hearing my voice and I sound pretty calm.
You have now shifted the quality of your voice, and I thank you for that.
Okay.
And you've just given me a condescending look, and that's another reason why we need feminism. And now I'm done. Thank you so much.
It's a valid question. The goal of a company is to protect the bottom line, and if they can legally get away with paying women less, they would definitely hire exclusively women just to save money. But apparently companies hate women so much that they would rather just pay men more.
This is why I just quit my job as a doctor and moved to Mexico City. I know that if you've been following me for a while, this may come as a shock because it would seem that I really liked my job, and I did. This has nothing to do with not liking my job.
Men, it's just interesting because we can like our job, make a lot of money, and still quit. Men would never. They would never.
A modern woman's quest for happiness is absurd because this quest involves nuking everything about their lives from orbit. They quit their jobs, they divorce their husbands, they move to a foreign country where they don't even speak any of the language, and they still end up incredibly miserable anyway.
If you can hire, like, let's use the 83 cents to a dollar.
Yeah.
Okay. If you can hire women for less than you can hire men, how come all these companies aren't just hiring women?
Because then it's going to be looking like they're just giving the woman the job and we're just putting more women in women. And I feel like I feel like you need to diversify the workforce because we do have different ideas. We do have different type of, like, in that sense, like your idea might be different than mine, that I might not have thought of that, maybe because you experienced something different than I have.
It's literally illegal to exclusively hire women, and it's literally illegal to pay them less based solely on gender. But modern women constantly forget that they benefit from employers who benefit from discrimination against men.
Men saying, I've just decided altogether to avoid women, that it's better to be single, guys. And they're like almost proud, happy about the fact that they're going to choose and make the choice to avoid the entire gender of women because they have yet to actually resolve the war they have within themselves.
Men are not fighting a battle within themselves. Modern women started the fight when they decided the most rational and mature thing to do with their lives would be to brag about gainful employment while also relentlessly insulting men for no reason. So men decided to be done.
Let's put it this way. Let's say in only one out of 10 or 1 out of 50 instances, a guy walks up to a girl very politely and says, "How do you do, ma'am? My name's, Rick, and couldn't help but notice you shopping at this here bookstore, and I live in the area. I'm trying to make friends." How does he know that he's not going to end up with a viral clip, a picture taken, accusing him of being a Just a creep, I'll tell you.
Men have to be careful when it comes to modern women. All it takes is saying hello to the wrong woman, and the next thing you know, she posts on social media that you assaulted her, and your life can be ruined beyond all repair. I mean, it sounds like a joke, guys, but it just really isn't.
One of my coaching clients just told me the other day that he was at work and he walked into the break room and he saw that there was a new girl who was there and he introduced himself. By no means was he being flirty. By no means was he doing anything inappropriate. He was just being nice and introduced himself, only to find that he was reported the next day to HR for being inappropriate. He was completely mind blown, and he promises that he did not do anything even close to that and has no idea why that would happen. You do not need to meet women at work. It is a risk.
What's ironic is if he ignored her and minded his own business, she could still report him to HR for being unprofessional. Men have to walk on eggshells if they work in an office because he's a man and nothing more. It's insane that we can't be left alone to work in peace.
And then one day I was out on a site doing some project work, and there was myself, a lovely receptionist, an amazing guy using a scrubber dry better than I've ever seen anybody, and the person that I was supposed to be meeting. So I got there, I said, "Hi, I'm Kelsey, I'm from Bix, I'm here to do whatever." And she said, "Oh, I'll just call him." So she said, like, "The lady's here from Bix." And he came down to the reception and I was like, "Ready?" And he literally looked straight past me and even looked outside, and I was like logoed up, ready, excited, and there was like only us four in the building. And I said, "Hi, I think you're looking for me, I'm Kelsey." And he was like, "Oh, okay."
He was being careful. Men must avert their eyes and say as little as possible to women in the office because even a slight complaint about anything he does could have massive consequences, and men would rather keep their jobs than risk it by being polite. But anyway, guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Drop a comment, and I will see you all in the next one. Make sure you take care of yourselves. Peace.